And there you go. All right, flipping over to next page. Okay, on this page I'm going to have you write a few notes over to the side. The directions say classify the numbers. So what I'm wanting to know here is the number rational or is it irrational? Okay, and then we're going to explain. So let me make some examples. Okay, we did this the other day. So rational numbers would be fractions. They would be whole numbers. They would be repeating decimals, terminating decimals, so decimals that stop, and then perfect squares. Okay, all that boils down to is those all can be written as fractions, and that's what it means to be rational. For irrational numbers, you're going to have pi. You'll have non-perfect squares. And then you'll have decimals that go on forever, but they do not repeat. Okay, so there's really no rhyme or reason to their pattern there. Okay, so let's look at number 10. We have negative square root of 49. So it's a square root. Is 49 a perfect square or not? Well, that would give us a negative 7. So that is a perfect square. So this is going to be rational because it is a perfect square. Okay, number 11, 4/3 pi. It has pi in it, so it is irrational because of pi. Number 12, the square root of 4.4. Well, that's not a perfect square, so that's going to be irrational. Okay. All right, 13. Which is greater, square root of 19 or 4.1? So I need to know what the square root of 19 is first. So I'm going to come back over to my calculator. 19 and then square root, and you get about 4.4. So I want you to write that right there, and then that one is obviously bigger, so you can just circle that. Okay, number 14, write 0.3 repeating as a fraction. So remember, the 3 is repeating, so that's going to be our numerator. And then since it's the only thing that's repeating, we're going to take the place value it goes out to. So it goes out to the tenths, and we need to subtract 1. 10 minus 1 is 9. And then if you can simplify, simplify. So I'm going to divide these by 3, and you'll get 1/3. All right, and the third and final page, number 15, says find the distance between 4, 3 and 1, 2. So I'm going to plot those points first. So 4, 3 is right there, and 1, 2 is right here. And then I'm going to connect those with a line. Now, how do we find the distance? Now, a lot of you may automatically think of slope, rise over run. I do not want to know the slope of this line. I want to know the actual distance. How far is it from dot to dot? Okay, so some of you may remember we are going to create a right triangle. Just like that. And use the Pythagorean theorem. So, the height of my triangle is 1. The width of my triangle here is 3, and then I am trying to figure out what x is. Okay, x is our hypotenuse. That's going to be our c. So we have 1 squared plus 3 squared equals x squared. 1 squared is 1, 3 squared is 9. So we need to figure out what the square root of 10 is going to be. And again, we'll get a decimal, So we will round to the nearest tenth. Square root of 10, we're going to get 3 that's going to round up to 3.2. So 3.2 is x. All right, last two. Number 16, would the sides 6, 8, and 10 make a right triangle? So again, right triangle, that's your key term. We have to use the Pythagorean theorem. Now, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, okay? Remember, your hypotenuse, the c, is the one that matters. It's always going to be the longest side, okay? So that's going to be the 10. And then the other two, I can just plug into whichever one I want. Now I'm going to solve this and figure out if it ends up being equal. So 36 plus 64 equals 100. And 36 plus 64 is 100. So yes, this ends up working out to be a true statement. Now, one thing I want to say on your explanation. Okay, so yes, it'll make a right triangle. For your explanation, I want you to put because you're going to show the formula you used. 6 squared plus 8 squared equals 10 squared. That's how you know it worked out. Okay? And then the last one, number 17, same type of question, different numbers. So, would the sides 12, 18, and 15 make a right triangle? So this one, your hypotenuse is going to be 18 because that's the bigger number. So 12 squared plus 15 squared equals 18 squared. Well, 12 squared is 144. 15 squared is 225. And 18 squared is 324. Okay, add those together. 144 plus 225, you get 369 and 324. Those are not equal to each other. So no, this is not going to make a right triangle. And for your explanation on this one, here's what you may see on the test coming up. When we worked this out, this portion, the 12 squared plus 15 squared, gave us 369, and that was greater than the 324. So I'm going to say because 12 squared plus 15 squared was actually greater than 18 squared. And I want you to focus your explanations in that direction where you're actually showing the use of the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so again, this was our study guide for your quiz tomorrow, so make sure you take it home. We're going to be turning them in tomorrow, so make sure you bring it back, and if you have a parent signature, you'll get extra credit on it.